guess I'm Ocho in this situation.
Live Live's ongoing Diddy saga, ongoing coverage of the Diddy saga that just keeps going and going and going. Today
Can't stop.
I'm
Won't
joined
stop.
with Iron Panther Presents, and we're about to get into this indictment and arrest and all that good stuff. So I guess I would say, Iron Panther, why don't you tell me what you know about this so far, and what questions, if any, do you have regarding this?
The situation.
Yeah,
There could be situations. All right, so we've been covering this on our, both of our platforms for a while. This would be our third video, I think. I think combined on it. I said at some point we're like, let's wait till something really happens, right? So now that he's arrested and indicted, correct? He's an indictment at this point.
correct.
The picture behind me is him in the artist rendition of him in court. There's talks of baby oil. There's talks of guns. There's talks of freak parties. Is any of this a crime? Are these top three things?
Not by themselves.
Baby oil on guns. Is that a crime?
Baby gun on.
No, baby oil on guns, because apparently he had a whole bunch of baby oil. They found a whole bunch of baby oil, and that's going around. And then I heard he had guns, and they're like, "Well, what if he puts the baby oil on the gun? Is that a crime?"
No.
All right. So why is he indicted? Like, give me why they put handcuffs on this man finally.
You ever heard the saying, "The cover up is worse than the crime"?
Yes.
I would
Reasonable doubt last episode, actually.
I would dare to say that is majority of what the feds have presented evidence of as of right now. First of all, this indictment is like when you're in school and they say, yeah, before you do the paper or the report, give us an outline. This is just an outline. Like, nobody in the legal space expects this to actually go to trial as is. There's going to be a superseding indictment with a lot more in it.
So what's in this? Like, what was he initially indicted for? And what is he facing right now?
Racketeering conspiracy.
What does that mean? Because I truly don't know. What does racketeering mean? I've heard it a lot of time in movies and TV shows. What in the world does that mean?
Well, the word racket is just basically like a front or something like that. Like, it's basically like you have a business and you're doing something illegal with it, or you're taking a legitimate business and extorting money. Or, like, it has a lot of different. It can be used in many different ways, racketeering. But
so in this case, is it about how he treated Bad Boy or like Ciroc, or like they're saying he misused?
Yeah, they're saying Cohn's Enterprises and pretty much Cohn Enterprises, because he sold off Bad Boy a long time ago and stuff like that. So it's just like a lot of his stuff runs out of Cohn's Enterprises. So that's pretty much the main company. Like, his houses are in
Company
business names.
Yeah.
So
is that a crime? Like, what did he racketeer? Like how specifically did they explain how specifically he?
All right. So if the racketeering is, if I hire you for a business, right? You're my assistant or you're my security. I ask you to go over and above those particular duties, and I ask you to commit or assist and aid and abet in a criminal act. Procure prostitutes, intimidate this witness, things that are crimes. I'm asking you to do this
as my employee.
You included this as a part of the job for the legitimate business. So now you're running a racket out of your legitimate business, if you understand what I'm saying. Because
All right, so when
because
Cassie, so
the
Cassie
racket,
as a employee at the point, because she was on the Bad Boy label, correct?
yeah, that's what
So her being used to, as she said in her civil suit, her being used to go to the website and get the male prostitutes, which just should be prostitutes actually, but like that's like so like that because she was an employee, she was acting as an employee, and from that perspective.
correct. Because if she didn't do that, then her livelihood was in jeopardy, her well-being was in jeopardy, all those different things involving in from an employment perspective. That's how it correlates. But even if it was just like a totally illegitimate business, like say for instance, it's like a drug business or the mafia or something like that, you can still be considered racketeering because it's just organized, right? But in that organization, there's a means of profit, of gain, of something like that. There's nothing being gained in this except for Diddy's pleasure.
So also the
So,
issue, him trying to help his son, right? So it's supposedly like his son committed the crimes, and the whole thing about, well, he used his company or his resources to help cover up his son's crimes also goes to racketeering.
but I didn't see that in the indictment.
All right. So did they specifically list events, or are you giving
That
general examples?
that's a lot of fill. Like they listed the hotel thing that everybody saw, where he grabs Cassie and everything on the video. They mentioned that.
As
Um,
racketeering?
yeah, that's a part of the that goes towards he's willing to intimidate people, keep them under his control, prevent them from leaving, all of this type of stuff.
So that's not, again, so that's not duress, that's not like kidnapping, that's so like, so
Oh,
she's seen as an employee at this point.
but all right, so when you all right, so if you have these are all the feds have taken over, right? So let me start from the beginning, right? If you read the indictment, it'll have penal code section whatever of California state law. So as far as jurisdiction goes, right? You can have a bunch of state crimes, and as long as there's federal jurisdiction, something happens that the federal government says there's a crime here and it correlates to all these state crimes. They swallow up all of the state crimes, right? And it's one federal case. So there might have been a statute of limitations on that uh, case as
Hotel
far as
attack.
as far as it goes in California, which is why I laughed when the district attorney said, there's nothing we could do, whatever. And I was like, it's not over. The feds can come in and he can still be charged, which is what they did. So the feds have taken all of these crimes and they have put it under one umbrella of conspiracy and racketeering. The crazy thing is that he is now been indicted as a one member conspiracy. Like there's no unindicted, like usually an indictment you'll see
There's many
unindicted
correct.
conspirers if you're only going to indict one person, because hey, these other people we're going to turn, you know, states or federal evidence witnesses, but they don't even name them. So I guess they're trying to, withhold whoever they have as witnesses as far as it goes right now. A lot of times with the feds, you'll have them, you'll as a defense attorney, you would have to take them to court with motions to get all of this information. Who are the people? Who are the witnesses? Who, explain what exactly are all of the incidents and the evidence of the conspiracy and of the racketeering, because the feds love to do trial by ambush. So
So if he, so like I said, it's conspiracy, right? So you would assume that there's is going to assume that some of his like close business partners are going to be part of the indictment, because you can't conspire per se. Can you legally conspire with yourself, as you point out? Like, it has to be someone else. to be a conspiracy.
Correct. Is they don't have to charge anybody else, but yeah, there has to
It
be
has to be
other
someone else.
members.
So you think all these people are just going to be witnesses against Diddy? Like Diddy is the pyramid. He is the one they're trying to go after, or is he just a step to get to someone else?
No, I think he's the one that they're going after. I think the issue is that they'd long been looking into him, and he tried to get out in front of it. He tried to give people their publishing back, and then as a part of that, hey, you can never say anything to disparage me or any of my companies as a release of your publishing. And people were like, what is all of that about? And then like 2-3 months later, then the Cassie lawsuit comes out. And then the feds are like, yeah, we're looking into it, but we'll let you know. We're looking into it. Then the raid
So
happens, right?
yeah.
And then once the raid happens, people are like, where there's smoke, there's fire, Then the video comes out because once the raid happened, Diddy is in a panic. He's like, I need to get on the good side of everybody that I've wronged, right? I need to. This is where the cover up is worse than the crime, because this is when he starts intimidating witnesses, creating a false narrative, which is part of said conspiracy that's in the indictment, which is one of the reasons his bail was denied.
What was the false narrative?
They didn't go into specifics, but it's like if there was all right, let me give you an example, right? The situation with Cassie, right? That we all saw on the security footage, right? There are people who are into S&M. There are people who are into BDSM and all of that type of stuff, right? That's not a crime, right? You can smack somebody, hit somebody, do all this type of stuff sexually.
If it's consensual.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you were in a 10-year relationship, and we were like, when did it not become consensual? Like, this woman ended the relationship. The relationship has been over for over 5 years, right? She's married, has 2 kids. Now she's filing a suit saying that, hey, it wasn't totally consensual. I didn't feel good about it. Hey, this was our kink or whatever. Who's to, it's a he said, she said at that particular point, right? So once you say you get the person on starting to get people on the phone, not necessarily Cassie, but other people, and you're saying, hey, say it was consensual, say that, creating that false narrative. Okay. That's what the crime is.
That's the conspiracy. So like, it's almost like, so because Cassie, again, with these sex workers, with the crossing of state lines, this, because I thought that made it like more of a federal issue, like, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, the other charge is sex trafficking, right? But
who was being trafficked?
You're trafficking
was it Cassie
for yourself.
Well, I mean, was Cassie the one being trafficked, or is this referring to the prostitutes?
It can refer to any and all. Because the way that the law is written is, if you're transporting an individual across state lines for the purposes of sex, it's a crime. So you know how people are like, like rich guys are like, hey, I'll fly this girl out, I'll fly that girl out. That's technically a crime. If you're doing it just for the purpose of it's gonna be a hookup or a booty call or whatever, and that's a crime in and of itself.
So our understanding, so then they can go, so all the male prostitutes that were not specifically identified in Cassie's declaration in her, I guess, in a civil suit, but they just say that it happened. I mean, they could just say again, Diddy could be like, I flew him out for companionship. We hung out, we talked, whatever. They chose to do whatever, and then therefore not necessarily a crime. I didn't specifically ask him to have sex. You have to prove at that point then That the only reason
Yeah,
they showed up at Diddy's
that's
house.
why the indictment didn't come out 6 months, 9 months ago.
So
Once he
now you
starts
think you got people,
calling
he got
people,
people to be like, he's only called me up for the sex party.
yeah, no, once he calls people or is reaching having people reach out on his behalf to shore up people of saying, hey, uh, you were here for a party and sex happened, or changing the narrative
Yeah,
of
okay. Changing it. Right.
yeah.
Okay,
So
I got you.
that's why it's the conspiracy to try to conceal the stuff. They basically made it so that he's scared. The feds made it so that, whoa, they're building up a case. I need to shore up these loose threads or ends,
Yeah.
right? And that became the crime, to swallow everything up.
So two speculation. So do you feel like witness list will be former prostitutes? Is going to be people who attended said parties and therefore know it? Do you think it's going to be Cassie? I mean, like, is she like,
I think it's gonna
can
be,
she be a witness?
yeah, she can be a witness, because why wouldn't she be able to be a witness?
Because it'd be like if she was always like, "Hey, I did civil suit. I already took care of this." I would imagine there was no NDA attached to that.
You know what an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, does not cover crimes.
All right.
So if you cheat on your wife and I know about it, and you say sign this non-disclosure agreement, right? I can't tell because that's not a crime, so to
Mm.
say, right? I guess there's adultery in some states, but that is, let's just,
I get you. You can't say don't talk about the murder. Don't talk
yeah,
about the
yeah,
drug dealing. Don't talk
because
about
you
because
can't,
that's a crime. So you
yeah,
can't
so
stop me
that
from.
null and voids the contract.
All right.
So that's why she's able to talk with the feds about said criminal activity that has happened. She can't talk to anybody else other than the government about it.
Okay. So that being said, so I would again, I think most people are looking at saying, okay, Cassie's going to be the star witness, or is going to be the one to help get the other witnesses, especially since again he paid her like immediately. So like, I mean, that does is some. It's gonna the reasonable person is going to be like that shows she's telling the truth at some level. Like there was something you didn't want people to know. So she would make the best witness. I mean, so the videotapes that are being floated around, like he was recording people, blackmailing people, extorting people. Is that in the indictment?
Yeah. I mean, but that's filler. Like
Why
there's
is that filler?
all right. Um there all right, so like if you hear of like Supreme Court decisions, right?
Mm,
And there are two things in law. There's a holding and then there's dicta, right? A holding in like a court opinion or a decision is, this is the decision that has been made. This is the law that is being followed. The this is the new precedent, so to say, right? Then there's dicta, which is, this is just my opinion, like a dissenting opinion from a Supreme Court justice, which means the losing opinion. That is 100% dicta, pretty much, right? That's just, hey, I think that this is wrong, and
I'm
this is all
talking.
the reasons why I
I'm
think
talking.
it's
I
wrong.
got you. I got you. Like,
So
okay.
this is just filler. This is just the government's opinion of stuff. They're not associating it directly to a crime as of yet.
As of yet.
Yeah,
As of yet. So they could have actual like videos. They could present this as evidence. You're saying that right now they have not specified such, but it
correct.
could be on the table.
Like, all right, I'll put it to you this way: like the baby oil. I have no idea what the baby oil has to do with anything as far as a crime goes, right?
It
But
just sounds.
if if they said that, instead of them saying the oils and lotions or whatever, if they said white towels, right? He has thousands of white towels, right? Anytime he puts on a white towel, he's going, that is his
Signature
abuser
move.
uniform to whip women's asses or something. You know what I
All right.
mean?
All right.
Then that then can be associated to a crime. So we can say he has 1,000 of these because he's that much of a serial abuser.
Okay.
The only, you know what I mean? That
No, I got you. I got you. I got so to I mean to make what people I think at least what people talk about. If for some reason they're like the oil was used in said crime act or whatever, whether it be hurting Cassie or maybe like some some put things against people's will and that kind of thing, and that became the signature, right? If people be like, oh, I saw the oil, then it means like, oh, that almost shows the magnitude in which he did it, and it'd be like, okay, now this is the indicator of a crime.
and it's just persuasive. It's a matter of uh, these things have been going on since 2008, 2009, as far as the indictment date stuff, right? So they can say, oh, he didn't just gain a conscience and stop doing it a few years ago, right? This is ongoing. He has a stockpile of this stuff. This is something that he plans to continue to do.
To do. So what about the gun? Like people were talking about the guns again, also the DHS raid and that kind of stuff. Is any of this stuff in the in the indictment to say there's a reason for it, what they got out of it?
They have not, other than the intimidation of witnesses, but they haven't necessarily correlated that to a particular weapon. Like these are weapons that they found in his home. The home is in a corporation name, right? So it's in his bedroom, they say, right? So then they can say it's in close proximity to his living quarters, so to say, right? But then the weapons are unassembled, so they're not operable at the moment, right? So that diminishes the charge, right? But the only crime is that the serial numbers have been defaced.
Okay. All right, but so there's evidence of that they've been filed off or in some way
Yeah, yeah.
all right,
So
obfuscated.
3 weapons, serial numbers uh, have been defaced, which is about a 3 to 5 per each. So you're looking at about 12 to 15 or so, roughly
If
there.
convicted and served consecutively.
Correct.
All right. So, but is so with the so I remember again our last video it was about again in essence the cover up, right? Like the son, like the son got almost killed someone. Diddy was supposed to help try to cover it up, if I remember correctly
I I have not. That's not. I have
in the
not.
indictment.
Yeah. So
All right.
that might come out later in the superseding indictment. His son might end up being a co-defendant, an unindicted co-conspirator, an indicted conspirator. Any, like nothing is off the table because this is so.
In the early stages,
Yeah, it's very thin as far as what they're delivering right now. I
presenting.
think they want the defense to be in the dark. They're going to continue to build up their case while the defense continues to ask questions. What does this mean? Where's the evidence? Where's the witness? And they have to file motions and all this type of stuff.
So at this point, people are going to be wondering what celebrities are going to be called by the feds, right? They're going to be like, okay, who went to go see the FBI lately? Who went to go see the FBI lately? Who did the FBI go visit? Like over the next few months, that's going to be the thing. Anyone being seen by anyone in law enforcement, they're going to be like, this must be related to Diddy. So is there anyone you think or do you think this is gonna be like, oh, that's the one? Is it gonna be like Jennifer Lopez? You know what I'm saying? Because of that shit. I mean, I'm sure people are thinking it. Were they Justin Bieber? Is it gonna be Will Smith? I mean, it's gonna be TD Jakes. Are you think these are people they're gonna be like, yes, maybe we can get these people to flip
All right.
on Diddy?
So, all right. So, are you ready for the? I guess you say the water cooler talk. I guess you'd say
Yes.
is the woman who was shot at the New York in 1999 has been coming out and saying I was paid off, Diddy shot me, all of this type of stuff, right? And she's been saying this for a couple of years now. But the thing why I guess I can say I'm not 100%, but I think there could be some truth to it. The reason why you have like Homeland Security coming in to do the raid is because there's international affairs at hand, right? Because Jamal Shine Barrows did his time, was then deported to Belize.
Mm-hmm.
He has become like a grassroots organizer. He's in like the House of Representatives over there, and now he wants to run for president. But to run for president, you can't be have convicted of a crime anywhere in the world. He wants to be exonerated so that he can run for president.
So now they got to frame. They got to put it back on Diddy to help him out.
Yeah, so I'm like, we watched Snowfall, we watched all these different shows. America wants to have a friend in their pocket interest in South America. If
Right.
we can say we help install you as president in Belize, we can do that by
Convicting Diddy.
Exonerating you. How do we exonerate you? If you help us, we can help you. What do you know on Diddy?
All right.
And so on is so on and so forth. So I think that might be more of an incentive for them to take Diddy down, because once Diddy goes down, right? Because they're killing his character, they're killing all of his capital and equity as far as the
It's
public
social
goes.
capital. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
So if they say Sean is exonerated and we put the blame on Diddy, who cares? Because people's like, Diddy's a piece of shit because he beat Cassie's ass in a hotel.
A hotel video.
Yeah. So
all right.
So yeah, that I think that's something that can be thought about as far as conspiracy theories go and stuff like that.
Interesting.
People think that Obama, Clinton, even Harris could have attended one of these sex parties at one point, which is why they came in so hard.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that. I'm saying, because now you're still talking about a Democratic White House and administration. I mean, if they thought it reached that kind of high, I think they'd be like, let's wait and see what happens, post election. But I mean, I can see the average, A-list celebrity being on there. I mean, clearly a lot of celebrities are running scared that they see
But I'm
anything
saying that's as to why nothing has been explicitly said.
Okay, all right,
because it's like, we're gonna go through this. We're gonna tread very lightly. We're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know if what's out there, so we're coming in hard. We're gonna get all the videos and everything as much as we can. We're gonna go through them. We're gonna put him behind bars, cut off all communications and everything. He's isolated, and we can continue to look and go through stuff to assure that nothing comes out before the election.
I hear you. Okay, all right, okay. So that can be up there with the theories to be like, hey, this could touch important people, and we need to keep that under wraps until November. Actually, until January, I would say, because there's going to be recounts. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, short of a landslide, the election is going to last a while until ratification. But
yeah, I just named like presidential people, like
no, I got you.
That, senators and other white. I mean, Washington heavies still have an interest, or could have had some sort of dealings and stuff like that.
So how many former bad boy people you think are going to be like, hey, by the way, he killed Tupac? Like, are we getting there? I mean, you think they're going to go back to that kind of stuff, or this is just all dildos and oil?
I think it depends on how much the Fed's hands are forced. Like, I think the Feds have shown so little that it's like, and they said that a deal is not off the table. So if he goes quietly, I don't think that there'll be too much coming out. But if he wants to put out a real fight and try to embarrass the AUSAs and stuff like that, and and try to grandstand about injustice and all that type of stuff,
They're coming for him.
they might even try to charge him with that Kim Porter murder, because her supposed book that has not been authenticated, so to say, has is now on Amazon. Some guy is like, yeah, she sent it out in a group text or group email. It was already uploaded to the cloud, and he's released it, and it has all of these salacious details about him and her relationship and all the dealings at Bad Boy. And she wrote it as she was getting sicker, and she said that, he poisoned her and it wasn't pneumonia and all this type of stuff.
I mean, so even
Allegedly.
allegedly. So even my wife is like, you know how many people have dropped dead because of Diddy or associated with Diddy. I'm like, I don't think this man's gonna be charged for like 10, 15 murders. Like that's a bit much. I think so. I mean, if there any tax, like basic stuff, there any tax evasion, going, that's usually what brings them down.
Okay, so I haven't heard anything about that, but in the indictment, before it closes out, this is the thing, right? If anybody has this isn't even a really conspiracy there because it's in the indictment, right? So it has about a page or a page and a half of just code section blah 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 says, if this occurs, we can do this. If code section blah 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 happens, then we can do this. And all of this is just legal language about forfeiture. And if you hide the money out of a jurisdiction that we can't get to, then we can take your legal money that you have invested here. And if it's a company, then we can take that company's money. So this is what, like, any company ties that he might have or may have had, they will flip on him quick. Because if he is found guilty, when it comes time for the forfeiture process, if they can't get all the money that they are looking for, they can go to those legitimate businesses and say, come up off that money.
Give us the money, because Diddy has said this is one of his assets, and we need all the assets we can get our hands on.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily like a Diddy sole proprietor business. It's like he was in a partnership with Universal Music Group, or he was in a partnership with. So then the other partner is on the hook for the money.
All right,
that's why they will flip on him quick.
Well, I don't know anyone silly enough to stand by him at this point. I mean, if you're talking about the canceling, if that's still a word.
Oh, I'm like, you cannot stand with somebody and just stay silent. But I'm saying at this particular point, when you say forfeiture, now you have compelled me to assist you in the prosecution of him.
I got you. So I can, because you're saying a lot of businesses, if they're smart, they're going to be cutting ties with him anyway.
Cutting ties and becoming aligned with the feds.
Yeah. So it ain't looking good. I mean, it's not looking good. So again, you think he's gonna magically end up not alive anymore, as they say? Like Jeffrey Epstein.
As far as his lawyer says, this is just a protocol for high profile detainees to put them on suicide watch. And I'm like, man, that's cruel and unusual punishment. Because from what I've heard, right, you're like, they don't even give you real clothes. They give you like a paper gown.
Because you might hang yourself.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, I went to the dermatologist last month or whatever for like one of those skin cancer screenings, and they give you the little paper smock or whatever, and you make a little adjustment or something, and that thing rips. Imagine being in a frozen jail cell and you're just wrapped in paper and it's just ripping, and it's like you're just naked.
I mean, but that means, again, Epstein didn't make it, right? And I mean, a lot of people are like, hey, they came for him. Like it wasn't a coincidence. So like, They could be like, hey, we gotta make sure he lives long enough to see trial, or live long enough to take a deal and then go to jail. What do you think are the odds of him just taking a deal and somehow not going to jail for something?
As of right now, I don't see a deal being I don't see a deal happening right now. I see a deal happening if a superseding indictment comes out, or either after some motions get filed, because they're saying that he might, appeal the whole bail thing to a district court. I would see how that more or less goes. If he gets out, then the feds are really going to come with a deal. As of right now, the feds are like, eh, we're moving forward. There's no deal to
To be
be.
made. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, they're in the winning seat right now. Like, why would they? If they went through all this. Um,
I think, like, because I'm like, the defense can't defend him because they don't know anything as of yet.
mm.
Once they start filing motions to find out who the witnesses are, what the specific evidence are, like, and evidence has to be associated more or less with a witness to be introduced in court. So
Now we're gonna get
once you get a feel of that, and you can start coming up with a strategy to discredit and to disprove, and to start filing motions to suppress so that it doesn't get brought into the trial, that's when deals start coming about, because then you could actually see what's going to actually come into the trial.
so Diddy Screw. Does he have the kind of Trump resources that he can fight this, indefinitely, and like take it to the Supreme Court? Is this something? I mean, if can't keep on appealing, um, or he needs to look for he needs to make a deal to be like, I'm not going home.
Well, as far as the bail issue goes, right? He is like effed in the most, in the, like, you can't be more effed than that, right? Because I look at the young thug case where he's on a state RICO, right? His lawyer is saying, "Hey, you can put us on you can put me on an ankle monitor. I'll be on house arrest. I will pay for around the clock police surveillance to be outside to make sure I don't go anywhere, to check and see if anybody is coming in and out of my dwelling." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's gonna be me, my family. I'm at home. I'm going to court. I'm back home. That's it, right? They rejected it.
damn,
This is like the most strict and stringent guidelines that his defense put up, and the prosecution and the judge said no. Diddy didn't do that. I'll put up a $50 million package, which, if he's using like a bond company or something like that, that's like 5 million. He's only willing to put up five. Like, I could see if he said, I'm putting up a $500 million bail package, and he was putting up the 50 as the 10%, but that's that's not what he's doing. I don't know what his necessary money situation is, but the feds are like, if you're willing to give up, that's too little for as much as you have. And if you're willing to give up more than that, we don't trust you, because if you're willing to give up that much amount of money, we believe you're definitely going to run. Because why do you want to get out so bad?
because who
So,
wants to be sitting up here in a paper gown for the next months? Like, this is probably not going to be weeks. This is probably going to be months if
yeah,
he's
the
if
trial
he's
isn't
lucky.
expected to start until next year, like a year from right now.
Damn.
So as far as that goes, I really don't see his I don't really don't see him uh, uh, having a lot of money or resources, because the feds are going to freeze his accounts,
Assets. Yeah.
or at some point, if they haven't already. I'm like, as a as far as the law goes, right? If you have a lawyer, you can, a case like this, he can actually um, do some good money laundering if he had already done it, right? They said he surrendered his passport back in March when the raid happened, right? So it's not like he can he's had free reign to just leave the country or just flee or whatever. Anyway, so as far as a lawyer, the way that you pay a lawyer like a retainer, right?
Mm.
And he's working for you, and as the retainer goes, as he works, he takes a salary out of the retainer until it's all gone, and then you have to re-up, right?
Okay.
And that goes into an IOLTA account, right? This is a very highly monitored account. uh, you will get disbarred if you attempt to alter that account. If you attempt to hide, like as a lawyer, if you try to attempt to put some of your own money into an IOLTA account, you will be disbarred. This is one of those things where it's like, no, you don't get a warning, you just get disbarred.
Man.
Right? So with a case like this, I have like, you could say, hey, I'm paying my lawyer or my legal team $100 million. And who would bat an eye at that? He could hide all his money in his IOLTA account with an attorney, and once the trial is over, refund me my money that you didn't use as a part of that retainer.
Well, this kind of, I mean,
Because
this
the
kind of,
feds can't touch an IOLTA account.
I'm
Because
saying with this kind of sort of situation, he's gonna be spending a lot of money. I mean, this is not gonna be a cheap defense by no means. Like, so I mean, he'll be lucky not to be broke. And like I said, then they freeze his assets. Um, yeah, man, it's not.
I'm like, the feds are coming at just looking at the how much attention they put into the forfeiture. This is money motivated. Like they're like, I think the feds are working on perceived capital. Like this case is being paid for by Puffy. He's paying for his prosecution. We know we gonna get this money, so
Full force.
we're advancing the Southern District this money because we know we're gonna get it back on off all of this forfeitures.
All right, that's painful. All right, so I mean, indictments not convictions, so he's not convicted yet. So we just gotta see how it plays out.
If he's one of the 2 to 3% that beat, you know, a federal RICO, and I'm like, if you're a lawyer, you basically go in the lawyer hall of fame if you can if you can beat one of these.
Hey man, we gotta see, man. We gotta see what happens. I'd be again be interested to see how many celebrity names just get floated around like legitimately in the crosshairs of being a witness, a prosecution witness. Um,
I'm just like, the security hotel video just leaked, just happened to leak, right? I want to know how many more of these videos are just going to begin to leak.
I mean, I think the casting thing is done. I mean, the video just confirmed what she already said, so I don't think that's a big thing. It's gonna be the parties. It's gonna be the parties. If these videos,
That's what I'm talking about.
those start coming out, somebody's gonna get prosecuted because it ain't gonna be hard to figure out like who did it. But like if that starts coming out, it's gonna be problems. But that's social media's gonna eat that stuff
Because
up.
I'm like, all right, if you're a celebrity, lawyer up, and you have to beg, like, I'll do whatever you want. Don't show the video. I will come in and my testimony will be everything, because you don't want the celebrity to come in and then them to play the video and is that you on the videotape, and them have
Yes.
to say, I didn't know that it was a prostitute. I just thought that these were willing participants and what I was just enjoying a good time. And But yeah, if he was doing all this stuff and it was, oh my God, I'm so appalled. And that's what the USA might want, right? But if you have a good lawyer, have them celebrities negotiate. I will audio describe what happens in the video. Just don't play the video.
Don't play the video. Or don't have any artist renditions of
because the R. Kelly trial,
yeah,
they played the videos in court, right? And it was almost like they cleared out the court. So, there was no, it was just the legal
necessary
parties.
personnel.
Yeah, right. There was no gallery, so to say, right? And then they gave the media selective recordings to listen to in like a pool. Like you can listen to this at this computer, and you can hear it here, and you can take notes, but you can't have this or put this out or anything. And what the reporters said that they heard on those tapes and stuff like that was crazy. So I'm like, you wouldn't even want the media to just have
audio
secluded coverage of it, because when they're going to do the audio description in newspapers and magazines and blogs and all, it's still going to get out.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like I said, they got a good enough lawyer. Hopefully they can fight the process. But we will keep our eyes vigilant.
I'm like, and then there's non-celebrities, like the girl who kept the bejeweled jeans with the jizz on it for 20 years.
Oh.
So
there's that.
He has about like 20 different lawsuits, and Cassie's the only celebrity suing him.
Oh man. Well, I mean, we time will tell. Time will tell. But if Diddy makes it, yeah, I'm interested to see how it rolls out. And I guess we'll be covering it as it goes.
Yeah. All right. So closing out, thanks once again, Iron Panther, and I will see all the viewers that have stayed to the end next time.
Thanks, man.